The NBA trade deadline is in the rearview mirror. The NBA All-Star game is coming up this weekend. We've got teams openly tanking right in front of us. We've got playoff races heating up. We've got teams getting accustomed to some big trades and getting that roster fit together to try to make a push for an NBA title. And so we tie all that together and we bring on Nick Friedell. On the line is Audacy Sports NBA insider Nick Friedell. Check out all of Audacy's newest sports podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Nick, how you doing tonight, brother?
I am great, guys. I wish there wasn't as much tanking going on as there is, but it is a storyline now, and I am here to tell you that it is going to get even bigger in the next few weeks here, because when you start talking to people around the league and they tell you about the draft picks that are coming in the next few months, it is going to be an all-out tankathon to end the regular season.
Oh, yeah, and yes. I know Brad wanted to ask you about that in a little bit, so we'll save more details on that in just a bit here. But, Nick, again, trade deadline feels like a while ago. It was a week ago today. We didn't get the Giannis trade, but we got plenty of other big deals. And the Warriors, they finally released Jonathan Kuminga from the prison that they held him captive in, dealing him and Buddy Hield to Atlanta and getting back Kristaps Porzingis, who's that nervous system illness, POTS, which became a massive issue last year in the playoffs, has once again been a factor in him only playing 17 games this season. So do the Warriors, from what you've gathered, because you follow them very closely, do they actually have plans on trying to keep Porzingis after this season? He'll be a free agent. And then as a two-parter, a lot of stories coming out now about Kuminga's relationship with the organization and how ugly it got. Do you think he can become an all-star with the Hawks?
Let's start with Porzingis. This is a guy that the Warriors have been after for years. I mean, on a fit for what the way they like to play and what he brings as a guy who's like 7'3" and can be a rim protector and shoot from the outside. He fits completely. So the biggest key with Porzingis is the same thing that it has been for the last couple of years, guys, which is, can he stay out there on the floor? If he can, and it's a huge if, he fits the Warriors perfectly. He has a rhythm with Al Horford. You'd think that he'd cover up some of Draymond's weaknesses when they get some time together. Does he stay for the next couple of years? We'll see. I think they could also use his deal if they were to do some kind of sign and trade in the summer for something else. But in the short term, you get a few games here in the second half to see how he's feeling and what it looks like. And the Warriors are absolutely confident that he can help them a lot. They can't win a title this year. They're not good enough. But I think he can help push into the play-in, maybe get into a first-round series and scare somebody. As far as Kuminga, I can only go from what I've seen. I was around the Warriors a lot when he got drafted. I've been around the Warriors a lot this season. I am not a believer in Kuminga. I think his game is too inconsistent, whether he's with the Warriors, the Hawks, or somewhere else. We all agree that the talent is there. We all agree that there are moments where you go, oh, yeah, okay, like it's coming together. I just don't believe he's going to be able to put it together night after night after night. I'd be happy to come on here with you guys in a year or two and say I was flatly wrong if that happens. But when you talk to the people that have been around him every day, there's no denying the talent's there. There's just this question of, does he want to be great every single day? Is he going to do things that help the team every single day? And that would be where I'd be very cautious, having watched it unfold here, at least in the last 3 or 4 months, that things are really going to change that much in a new setting.
Wow. Nick, we talked about this team a couple of times when we've had you on, and man, they're scorching hot right now. That's the Charlotte Hornets of all squads. They continue to buzz. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. There's still 4 games below 500 at 25-29. They're just on the outside looking in of the playoffs out east. So answer me this. Do they make the playoffs outright, or are they going to be a play-in only team? What are your thoughts on the suddenly scorching Charlotte Hornets?
I am still thinking it's a play-in situation, but guys, I remember a couple weeks ago when you were saying, all right, is it Bulls, Trailblazers, or Hornets? And Pat, I think you said, give me the Hornets, let me see what happens. And you were right, because it was worth a flyer then. Certainly the number is shrinking now. I am a believer in Con Knipple. I think he is as talented as he appears to be, and even more, I think he's going to get a lot better as he gains more confidence in the NBA game. After that, I'm still a little cautious on the rest of the roster. Charles Lee's done a hell of a job piecing everything together. I think they're going in the right direction. But again, specific to the next 25, 30 games to close the regular season, I'm still hard-pressed to say, all right, that's a playoff team. They're going to get good experience. They're winning a hell of a lot of games. I think it's too big of a hole to expect them to climb out of for the rest of this year. Going into next year and beyond, you get another pick in there. You feel really good about where you're at with Knipple and LaMelo and everybody coming together. I like their odds. A year from now, I don't feel as great about it in the moment.
Yeah, by the way, right now at BetMGM, to make the play-in, they're minus 800. To make the playoffs, the Hornets are minus 120. So a little food for thought there. Nick, let's talk about All-Star Weekend, which is on the immediate horizon. And, you know, I feel it's lost some of its luster. I'm a big fan of the three-point shootout. I still believe that is a standout event, but the dunk contest isn't the must-see event it once was. The skills challenge is rather boring. And the game itself has always been a first to 200 points exhibition, though this year with the format change, the three teams, the pair of Team USAs versus Team World, maybe that'll spice some things up. So imagine you're the commissioner. Imagine you're Adam Silver for a night. What changes would you make or encourage for the All-Star festivities to get back to what it used to be, which was really a must-see event?
Brad, I am horrified to admit how much time I've actually spent on this exact question. Because as a basketball fan my whole life, I really enjoyed the hell out of watching All-Star Weekend as a little kid.
Yeah.
I was intrigued always. I grew up in Orlando to see Shaq and Penny representing that team, our city. In those moments was cool as hell to me as a little kid. I can look back at all these All-Star games. I've been lucky enough to cover a lot of them through the years. Go back to that game, I think it was in 2012, when Wade broke Kobe's nose and there was intensity on the floor and people were into it. From that point on, and that was now 14 years ago, that game has been terrible. They had a good moment in Chicago at the end where people were kind of into it. From other than that, name me 5 moments from the All-Star games over the last 14 years. It's so sad. The answer to your question to me, though, is I don't know what they can do. And that's as honest as I can be. Because if it were me, you'd go East versus West and you just say, play hard, guys. Just see what can happen. And they don't want to do it anymore. So I don't care if you put USA versus the world, no matter how you want to dress it up, these guys are not going to play as hard as they could, and they're not going to play as hard as they used to. With that in mind, I also don't think you can get rid of the game because there is so much hype around this game. People do. It's like nostalgia. Hey, I remember the All-Star game, and it used to be cool. And let's always remember the key here, guys. What is it? It's money. Because all these networks, it was TNT before, now it's NBC. They are promoting the hell out of the game, All-Star Weekend. The dunk contest is awful now. I'd say all of this to say I am very sad. It makes me sad, All-Star Weekend now, because it used to be something I always looked forward to. It was an appointment viewing. It's not anymore. It is a bad product. And the league knows it. I just don't think there's a good fix for
it. Wow, that sucks to hear. On the line is Audacy Sports NBA insider Nick Friedell. Check out all of Audacy's newest sports podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Nick with us here on BetMGM tonight, Westwood One Sports. He's Brad Evans. I'm Pat Boyle. Nick, which team has disappointed you the most so far this season? Now, the Magic haven't been nearly as good as I thought they'd be after their big offseason trade for Desmond Bane. The Bucks have obviously fallen on their face with the Giannis injuries, but they did manage to keep him for now. The T-Wolves are struggling to stay in the top 6 in the West. They've been to the conference finals each of the last 2 seasons, and the Clippers got off to that god-awful start and then rebounded, but have since traded Harden and Zubats. And yeah, you know what? I'm salty that the Knicks lost to them last night, but the Pacers, I mean, without Tyrese Halliburton, they're the worst team in the NBA. Who's been the most disappointing team in your opinion, unless it's one of those teams I didn't mention?
No, I would start with the Clippers because everybody thought that they would have at least a chance to really compete. And Pat, to your point, they got rolling, but clearly with Harden, there's always a problem. And boom, here we go right before the deadline. I want another deal. I want some more money. Whatever. They were built to win a title, and it's never going to happen. And for it to unfold the way that it did to start the year and then to see them get some rhythm and then disappear, it's sad. There's another team you mentioned there, though, that really went all in, and it's going to blow up in their face, and it's the Magic. Because when you put all those picks in to get Bane and you piece Bane together with Banchero and Wagner, and you say, hey, this is it. We're in. We paid everybody. Everybody's locked in, and you're the 7 seed. Good luck. I mean, if I'm the Magic, guys, this summer is going to get really rough because you're going to start to break apart what you thought was going to be your team for at least in the next 5 to 7 years. They are not in a good place. They've spent their money, and now what happens? They lost all their assets because you made that move. So it's really going to be a fight to the finish for both of those teams, but clearly the Clippers punted on the rest of this year with the moves that they made. Now you're just waiting to see what Orlando does to restructure in the offseason. But those 2 teams, to me, really jump up as teams that thought they were going to be near the top, and they just aren't.
All right, Nick, let's get to the meat and potatoes. You touched on it at the top of this interview. Let's start diving in. There's been considerable discussion about NBA teams and their purposeful tanking. Kenyon Martin told Yahoo Sports earlier this week, quote, "It's a disgusting display of non-competitive natured organizations. I think it's awful for the game," end quote. What are your thoughts? And what are, if there are any potential solutions to combat tanking?
It's the worst I've seen it, Brad, since I've been covering the league. And we could all point to teams. I mean, I remember seeing the Sixers, years ago, the process, all that. Watching that up close was awful because you knew they just weren't putting a product on the floor that wanted to win. The Thunder, everybody praises them for what they built. They were tanking a few years ago. I mean, they wanted no part of piecing together wins. There's like quiet tanking, and then there's screaming out loud, this is what we're doing. That's Utah right now. Utah, hey, we're going to play Jaren Jackson Jr. and Markkanen. Let's sit them down the stretch, make sure we lose this game. I mean, I'm sitting there watching that Warriors-Grizzlies game the other night in San Francisco, and Memphis is making decisions down the stretch, and you go, okay, they don't want to win either. It's always been part of the game. It just hasn't been this prevalent, and it is an awful look. As far as fixes, I don't see them because I don't see how you can come in and say, all right, well, we're going to find this team and we're going to dock this team a pick. Good luck. I think the best way is to try and redo the lottery. I know people have talked about the wheel plan. There's got to be a better way than loosening the restrictions the way they did a few years ago because, guys, what's happened is it's just made it worse. They were hoping that it made tanking better, the play-in, all these other ways to potentially get in the playoffs. It's made it worse. The games aren't competitive. The product isn't good. And when you have almost half of these teams right now trying to lose on a nightly basis, you can't tell me that people who are paying for the tickets or they're paying to watch the game and they've got some money on the game aren't sitting there shaking their heads going, is there a better use of my time and money than this?
Damn straight. Damn straight. And Adam Silver's got to start freaking doing something about it, man. I mean, it looks more spineless by the day. Finally, Nick Friedell with us, our Audacy NBA insider, with us here on BetMGM tonight. Those aren't your words; those are my words. Adam Silver, spineless when it comes to doing something about tanking. Nick, finally, that nasty brawl in Charlotte the other night, that was fun. I mean, that produced 4 suspensions. Isaiah Stewart, no surprise, thinks he's a WWE character. He gets involved. He gets banged for 7 games. Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate both get 4. And Jalen Duren, he was kind of the one that started it, the little open palm shove to the face of Moussa Diabate. He only gets 2 games. Do you think Adam Silver and the NBA got this right with these suspensions?
And Pat, it is funny as you outline it there, because the open face palm, that usually starts these. It's like bang, and somebody gets hit, and then they start running backwards like, oh no, I don't want all of it. Isaiah Stewart wants all of it. I think as a repeat offender and somebody who has been on the league's radar for a while, that one didn't surprise me at all. What's sad is we've talked about a lot of the nostalgia in our conversation tonight about where the league's going with the All-Star game and tanking. I actually think a fight here and there is good for the league. I think bad blood between 2 teams. Charlotte has really been playing well. Detroit obviously is rolling in the East. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. You get a little bit of a rivalry back. We haven't seen rivalries in years because these players are so close, and I work out with this guy in the offseason. He's not bad. That's not what so many people our age grew up on in all of this. So I don't think that it is that terrible of a look for the league. But when you have somebody running off the bench, and Pat, this goes to your point, and you have them accelerating all kinds of stuff, well, yeah, you're going to get a week's worth of games. I mean, at this point, 7 games is 2 weeks. So I agree with that one. But for the league in general, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing people scrap it up here and there. I think the league itself could use a lot more of a jolt of people just not liking each other. It's okay in sports. I think fans respond to that. And I think the general public that you're trying to get involved into your games night to night wants to see some action. Guys, I would leave you with this. In all my years covering the league, I can't remember a time where the regular season product was this rough night to night. When you watch a lot of these games, you're seeing guys just kind of go through the motions. Certainly there are times when people ramp it up a little bit more than usual. That is not the case as I'm watching these games now, and it's just starting to erode even more the public trust that's been built between the NBA and the millions of people that consume the NBA on a nightly basis.
Great point. A lot of great points. Nick, we appreciate the time, man. And we can't wait to catch up with you next week after All-Star Weekend. Maybe we do get a little bit of positive momentum with the NBA. Maybe the dunk contest is good. Maybe Team USA versus Team World ends up being a smash hit. Well, either way, we're going to catch up with you next week and talk all about it, man. Enjoy it. I'm assuming you'll be in LA for the All-Star game?
I am not going near another All-Star game until they start trying again, Pat. I want no part of it until I can feel the intensity again. If that ever happens, I'll be there. But no, I am not headed to LA for all the reasons that we talked about.
Wow. Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. I don't know, maybe you get a free trip, maybe, you get to, on the company dime.
Those days are gone. Give me the beach over watching, a scrimmage that plays out with the most talented guys in the world.
All right, well, well, we can't wait to catch up with you next week either way, Nick. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy.
Always good to be with you guys. See you.
Thanks, Nick.
There you go. That was Audacy Sports NBA insider Nick Friedell. Check out all of Audacy's newest sports podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.